Since the beginning of time, the sea has been a source of bounty for human beings. But now the living resources of the sea are declining due to overfishing and other factors. In Morocco and northern Africa, octopus stocks have plunged drastically. The fishing grounds have had to be closed.
Suddenly we were unable to find any octopus.
In seas off Canada, a major fishing ground that attracts fleets from all over the world, operations are strictly monitored to prevent overfishing. The depletion of marine resources is evident in oceans around the globe.
The town of Agadir used to be a thriving center of octopus fishing in Morocco. But now about 200 octopus boats are moored at the local fishing port. After years of overfishing, the octopus simply disappeared. The fishing grounds had to be closed in September 2003. A total fishing ban due to the collapse of stock is rare in the world.
There isn't any octopus now. We're only getting little ones. We'll have to wait until the juveniles grow bigger.
One place that has seen an upswing in such clashes is a narrow but rich fishing ground in seas off Canada.
A Canadian patrol plane is approaching a fishing boat at an altitude of 30 meters. Inside the plane, the crew uses military cameras to monitor the species of fish the boat is hauling in.
Oh, 30 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 0063.
This area is under the management of the Northwest Atlantic Fisheries Organization, NAFO, and is monitored by Canada, a coastal nation. Under the water is the continental shelf known as the Grand Banks. This site is one of the most important fishing grounds of the world. Most of the continental shelf, which is home to many living creatures, is within Canada's exclusive economic zone. Vessels from other countries can operate only in the area where tips of the shelf extend into international seas. A total of 341 ships from 16 nations are operating in the open sea portion of the Grand Banks. They're under strict fishing restrictions for the conservation of resources. Japanese trawlers are among them. They're mostly after Greenland halibut. The annual quota for Japan is about 3,000 tons. 10 years ago, the stock of Greenland halibut in the region was estimated to be more than 200,000 tons. But it began to drop sharply, and in 2003, it was estimated to have plunged to less than one-half of its earlier levels. A group of fisheries inspectors comes on board a Japanese vessel. Surprise inspections like this are common here to check compliance with catch limits and fishing gear rules. Inspectors first check the mesh sizes of fishing nets.
46, 46, 46, 46, 46, 46.
Greenland halibut have to be more than 30 centimeters long to be caught here.
50.
Inspectors even check freezer stores at the bottom of the boat.
What is in this one? This is Greenland halibut. Greenland halibut here? Yeah. Okay, we look. Yes. Great.
Because stocks of Greenland halibut have fallen so far, any boat found to have caught more than its allotted quota is subject to strict penalties, such as suspension.
No, that's good. All right, that looks fine. This is all your fish, yeah?
The total allowable catch and quotas by country for the Grand Banks are decided at an international conference of NAFO. In September 2003 in Halifax, Canada, representatives of 16 nations and the European Union had heated debates over catch quotas for the coming year. A compromise plan was adopted that would cut the annual catch into half in stages over 4 years.
But with that as introduction, I would say that overall, Canada is very pleased with the outcome that we have achieved here at this NAFL meeting. And we think that this is an important step forward in demonstrating that NAFL can deal responsibly with fish stocks.
And one pioneering effort has succeeded. Sandfish stocks in the country's north have been restored.
In order to introduce this very interesting...
A report on the case attracted attention at a meeting at the UN Food and Agricultural Organization in Rome in February 2004.
The major fishing prefecture of...
13 years ago, the sandfish off Akita in northern Japan were on the verge of extinction. One fisherman decided to initiate efforts to revive them. Magoichi Sato, head of the Akita Prefecture Fisheries Cooperative Association, called for a total fishing ban.
I was afraid the fish would die out completely if we didn't do something. We had to restore them by whatever means possible. I couldn't imagine our seas without sandfish. They're part of our life and heritage.
This footage shows how it used to be when the seas around Akita were still abundant with fish. Huge shoals of sandfish approached the coast before New Year's Day every year. Sandfish were a precious source of income and protein during the harsh winters here. But catches declined sharply after peaking in 1968. By 1991, they had fallen to 70 tons from their high of 20,000 tons. Overfishing and reclamation of spawning grounds were blamed. Scanty catches pushed up prices. At one time, one fish brought in the equivalent of $9. A vicious cycle set in. As the catches declined, the prices rose. This encouraged even more fishing. The fish stocks dwindled further. Sato believed that if nothing was done, the sandfish would disappear forever. He recalled something that had happened during World War II and decided that the solution had to be a fishing moratorium.
There wasn't much fishing during the war. The sea was left alone. When the war was over, fishermen found the sea teeming with fish. From that experience, I was sure that the fish would return, if only the sea was left alone for a while.
Fishermen. Magoichi Sato's son and grandson are also fishermen, and their futures were at stake as well. But at first, even his own family was against the ban. The most strongly opposed person was his son, Masahiro. Fishermen in Akita earn nearly half their annual income from sandfish.
If we couldn't catch sandfish, where else will we get money? The idea of the fishing ban simply left me cold.
In 1992, the fishermen of Akita finally agreed to the moratorium. It was a ban set by fishermen themselves, something that had almost never been done before in the world. For those who made their living from fish, it meant 3 years of hardship. Since it was a self-imposed ban, no government compensation was forthcoming. Some of the fishermen left with almost no income had to move to big cities for temporary jobs. Since there was also no guarantee that the sandfish would return after 3 years, some sold their boats and gave up fishing. The day finally came. After 3 years, the ban was lifted and sandfish fishing was resumed. In a survey that was conducted beforehand, sandfish were confirmed in the sea, but fishermen were not sure how many of the fish would come their way. As it turned out, they had a tremendous catch. Masahiro, who was at sea, informed his father of the good news at once. Sato was waiting at the pier,